17 people arrested over the gangland killings in Hong Kong. Chinese government downplays the beating of the Hong Kong journalist. Jail for life, ex-Taiwan president also fined 200 million new Taiwan dollars. And America prepares to mark the 9/11 anniversary.
The DHK Evening News with Ivan Leung.
Good evening, I'm Ivan Leung. Police have arrested 17 people over the gang slaying of the tribe boss Leung outside the Kowloon Saringla Hotel last month. They were detained by the group of organized crime trials bureau officers in a territory-wide operation following a month-long investigation. The 41-year-old Leung, the Chimsacho's faction leader of Sun Ye Trion gang, was killed in precinct attack in front of the entrance of Shangri-La Hotel on August 4 after parking his car. Mr. Lee was run down by a van and then hacked to death by three men carrying knives who jumped out of the vehicle, which was the following. Police says at least 5 people involved in what they did as a well-organized professional hit. The assassinators wore caps, tried to hide their faces, and the vehicles involved were found later burning in Tai Po. A former Morgan Stanley executive has been convicted in Hong Kong's largest inside dealing case. The district court heard that Dun Jun, a former managing director of the investment bank, has spent more than $87 million on the stock oil company Citric Resource Holdings in 2007 after he obtained inside information related to the company's oilfield acquisition. When the deal was made public, the banker sold half of his stocks and gained $33 million. The sentence will be given today. A woman, despite having her own baby, has admitted cutting open a pregnant woman's stomach out of jealousy. The victim, who was 8 months pregnant, survived the attack, but the baby died a few months later. Leung Xin-ting pleaded guilty to the High Court to charge the manslaughter of the babies inflicting grievous bodily harm on the pregnant woman. She'll be sentenced next month. The China Authority in Beijing says it's not worried that the last week police beating of 3 Hong Kong journalists in Urumqi will affect China's image. Spokeswoman of Zhang Yu says the journalist has to act according to the law and obey instructions given by the police officers during unexpected events. A deputy director of Beijing Liaison Officers Hong Kong, Leung, echoed her voice, but saying no one wanted the incident to happen. Mr. Lee says the incident took place as Xinjiang authorities were urgently attempting to restore law and order in the city. The beating of 3 newsmen sparked concern over whether authorities had used excessive force. Now, some very important news here is that the former Taiwan President Chen Shui-Bian has been jailed for life. He was also being fined 200 million new Taiwan dollars. His wife Wu Shuzhen was also given a life sentence. 2 were found guilty of graft, embezzling, and money laundering charges. The verdict given by the Taiwan District Court could be appealed. Some other news now. China's health ministry says it expected a sharp increase in the number of human swine flu cases this winter. According to the minister, the number of daily infections has been increased, and there have been serious cases among them. The mainland has also so far 7,000 swine flu cases. Beijing is hoping to speed up the production of vaccines and antiviral drugs. Americans are preparing to mark the 8th anniversary of September 11 attacks, with ceremonies in New York, Washington, D.C., and around the country. Jeremy Leung reports.
U.S. President Obama is due to lay a wreath and give an address at a remembrance event at the Pentagon hosted by Defense Secretary Robert Gates. There, they will remember the 184 people who died when American Airlines Flight 77 struck the building 8 years ago. For many, the anniversary will also serve as a reminder of why America and its allies are still at war in Afghanistan. Here, the US ambassador will lay a wreath at a memorial in London's Grosvenor Square, honoring British victims. UK families who lost relatives in the attacks will be attending a ceremony at the Memorial Garden there, linking up with concerts going on in New York and at the Pentagon. The regimental band of the Coldstream Guards will perform, along with the choir of the Fulham Camerata and Scottish rock violinist Laura McGee. Simultaneously in the British Garden at Hanover Square in New York, tenor Russell Watson will open the ceremony, performing with the New York Scottish Pipes and Drums and the Manchester Regiment of the Police and Fire Pipe Band. Jeremy Leung, DHK News.
The White House has announced that President Obama would deliver a speech on global financial crisis next Monday, exactly 1 year after the Lehman Brothers has collapsed. It was the fall of Lehman's, the fourth largest investment bank, which triggered the worldwide crisis. According to the White House, the president will talk about his administration to commit to wind down the roles in the U.S. financial sector, as well as action leaders need to prevent such crises from happening again. Some other international news is that the Indonesian president warned that ties with Australia could be harmed by a fresh probe into the killings of Balapo 5 journalists in Jakarta 1975 invasion of East Timor. On Wednesday, Australia has announced a police investigation into the affair. The Sydney coroner found that the Australian-based journalists were killed by Indonesian troops who strive news of invasion of then Portugal colony. Afghanistan's vote on monitored body has ordered the first time that the ballot to be scrapped from dozens of polling stations, finding clear and convincing evidence of fraud in recent troubled elections. Afghans went to polls on only their second direction president election in August 20, but the votes were marred by the low downturn widespread of allegations of vote rigging, intimidation, and other fraud. In the course of investigation, the Electoral Complaint Commission has found clear and convincing evidence at the polling station in 3 provinces, said the ECC. The UN-backed body says the ballot from those stations should be excluded from the final vote, which almost barely encountered looks like to be elected in Crum by President Hamid Karzai. Most of the president's ballot came to question of Karzai's strongholds. Now recapping our top stories now, police have arrested 17 people in the gang slaying of Tribe boss Lee Tai Leung outside Kowloon Shangri-La Hotel last month. Police says at least 5 people were involved, described what the murder as well-organized and professional hit. The Chinese Foreign Ministry in Beijing says it won't worry the last week's police beating of 3 Hong Kong journalists in Urumqi last week will affect China's image. Spokeswoman Zhang Shu says the journalist has to act according to the law and obey instructions given by the police officers during unexpected events. Judgment Day for former Taiwan President Chen Shui-Bian as he is being received jail for life and 200 million new Taiwan dollars. Mr. Chen says has to be expected a heavy sentence. An American prepared to mark the 8th anniversary of September 11 attacks. Civic ceremonies in New York, Washington D.C. and around the country. They will remember 184 people who died when the American airstrike Flight 77 struck the building 8 years ago. And that's Friday's evening news. Thanks for calling in. Bye bye.